Hey folks, it's Mark here from Harmonix, where we give you the knowledge to get good on guitar. Harmonix is your channel for easy to follow guitar lessons for all levels. Today we're looking at a neo-soul style riff, but with an 80s metal sounding progression. So what is that going to sound like? Well, it sounds like this. So my idea here was to try and combine something pretty modern with some techniques, some percussive kind of sound with the right hand, arpeggiating through the chords, but with a kind of E minor to suspended style chords, the E to D, C, you know, the old kind of heavy metal progression that we all know and love, and combining the two together to see if it actually works. And I actually thought it sounded pretty good, so I wanted to bring it to you guys today. So before I break this lick down, and I do mention it as well when I'm going through it all, it's so important to remember that when you're doing something like this, where technically it's maybe not as involved as some of the other stuff that I show you, it's all about how it sounds, how it's packaged and presented to the listener, and how much of yourself is in the sound. It's very important that you use a lot of feel when you're playing something like this. People can tell the difference between someone who's playing something they've learned and someone who's really feeling what they're playing. So I would urge you to dig deep when you're playing stuff like this and really allow that technique to come through with some emotion and some feeling. And the sound difference is quite tremendous when you get a grip on something like that and you're good enough and proficient enough to be able to play things how you want them to sound, not just be able to play them in the first place, right? And that's what the journey on the guitar is all about. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get into the riff. First of all, what I'm doing is I'm playing a version of an E minor 7 up in this position, okay? So my first finger is going to be barring pretty much everything on fret 7 except for the top E string, okay? I'm going to have my third finger on fret 9 on the D string. I'm going to allow my first finger to play 7 on the G. My second finger is going to be on fret 8 of the B string, and my first finger is going to be covering the 7 at the bottom. So that would sound like this if I was to play the whole chord. Okay? Now, the neo-soul part of it is basically the technique of how to demonstrate this. Now, neo-soul, in essence, is usually a little bit more kind of jazzy, but for the sake of argument, it's more of a technique in the presentation of the sound, but I'm using like an 80s metal progression, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm using the E minor 7 and I'm just arpeggiating it down. So I'm playing each of the notes of this chord separately in my own style. You can demonstrate this and arpeggiate it however you want to get the notes out and give it your own flair. But me personally, naturally, what I did when I kind of came up with this is I went A, D, G, B with an upstroke, so like this. And then I'm using my hand to create a percussive muting of the guitar, which you find a lot in that neo-style sound. Notice I'm playing down, 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 up, yeah, on the A, D, G, and B respectively. Okay? So that's the first part. Then what I'm doing is I'm adding a little flourish with my pinky on fret 10 on the B, like this. And then I'm picking back down through the chord. Then I'm picking back through it again, all arpeggiated, i.e. the notes of the chord played separately. And I'm kind of hitting this note at the bottom as well, just to give it an overall tone. So let me show you what I'm doing slowly. Okay, you see that pattern? So down, 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 up. Then I do the little pull off with the pinky. So I'm playing fret 8 on the B, which is being held by my second finger. And then I'm kind of going hammer on and pull off of my pinky. Very quickly like that. Just to create a little flourish. Like that. Picking back up through the chord. Then back down. And then back down again. I'm doing this all naturally. If you want to try and force it and do it exactly the way I'm doing it, then that's great. But I would advise you to try and do it your own way so you can get a feel for playing chords in this particular style for yourself. However, if you want to copy me almost exactly, for the first part, you know I'm going A, D, G, B with an upstroke, stop, like that. Then I'm picking an upstroke on the 8, hammering on my pinky onto the 10, pulling it off, like that. Then I'm picking back up through the chord with upstrokes, then back down, making sure I catch the 7 at the bottom that's being held down by my first finger, and then back through again, like that. It may not be exactly like that when I do it, but that's pretty much the overall idea I'm doing. So let me show you really slowly. 2, 3. Okay, let me do that again. Okay, so you can see there, it's not going to be exactly the same every single time. It's just a natural feel that I'm putting into it, okay? This is why I urge you so strongly, don't necessarily always copy people exactly, but do what they're doing, but put your own style to it. It's so important that you get that feel. You have to get the feel into your hands, okay? It's so, so, so important that you can feel the music, not just play it. I know that sounds a bit woo-woo and all the rest of it, but I'm telling you, it makes such a big difference to the people listening to you, okay? Okay, now once we've done this, we now present the D sus2 chord and the C sus2 chord. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm playing a D power chord. So I've got my first finger on fret 5 on the A string, my third finger on fret 7 of the D string. I've got my pinky underneath it for the octave, and that's on the G string on fret 7. And I'm using my first finger to bar all the strings below, okay? So I'm not playing a D major chord with this note here, which would be fret 7 on the B. I'm actually allowing my first finger to give me the 5 on the B. There. That it gives me the suspended sound, okay? Or what I'm doing here is I'm doing the same thing I did here. Okay, so I'm playing like down, 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 up, stop. And I'm doing the same thing here. Okay, like that. Sometimes I'm catching the bottom E, sometimes I'm catching the B. I think most of the time I'll try and catch those bottom 2 actually with an upstroke. It's kind of strange actually teaching this because I never really thought about what I was doing. Again, because it's a feel thing. I'm just doing what I think is right, what I'm feeling when I'm playing it. So putting it into, exactly what I'm doing is a little bit more difficult than I thought, but hopefully I'm doing my best. So okay, so that kind of idea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Like that. Down, 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 up, stop. Okay, that's pretty much what I'm doing. And then when I get to the C sus2 chord, I'm just presenting it with just a straight picking of all a strum through or rake through of all the notes. Okay, like that. And I'm just allowing that chord to ring out for a second. And I thought it was a better idea than doing this kind of, because it's a bit too samey from what I've already done. And I like the idea that this breaks the rhythm pattern. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going from the E minor 7 to the D sus2 to the C sus2, but I'm kind of letting the C sus2 chord drone out. Okay, I'm giving it a voice for a while. Let me show you what I mean. I'm giving it some sustain in essence. So 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's the first half of the riff. Okay, so the second half of the riff, I do this little thing here, which I think is pretty cool because it leads back into the E, because maybe the more perceptive of you noticed that when I started this, I didn't start with an open E, even though it's an E minor 7 chord. I started actually with the A string. What this basically allows me to do is play an open E at the end of this little lick thing here and go straight into the E minor chord with that E already droning over the the bass note droning over the chord as the riff begins again. In essence, what I'm doing here for this second part is I'm playing 4, 5, 7 on the D string with a down, up, down pick. Then I'm picking up on the 5 and then hammering on to 7 with the pinky, pulling off the 5, pulling off the 4. Then I'm coming over with a downstroke on the 5 on the A, and I'm holding that note, so I'm allowing it to ring out as I play an upstroke on the 4 on the D again, so I get this harmony. Okay? This harmonized sound between 5 on the A string and 4 on the D string, which is like a kind of majory D sound. Okay? And then I'm playing an open E with a downstroke. So all together, very slowly, that'll look like this, including the picks, okay? So watch the right hand too. Let me do that again. You hear that droning over everything? It's quite nice. It's kind of haunting. It catches it. And if you have a little bit of delay on your amp, which I've put on, it really allows it to flow over. Okay, so it makes more of a kind of emotive, haunting, empty sound. What you want to watch with this as you try and speed it up is you want to make sure that you're like that. So you maybe want to accent the sort of more advanced guys. If you're watching this, you may want to try and accent this up pick on fret 5 here on the D. Putting it all together, let's give it a try. And up to speed. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed putting that together for you today. And I hope you get to grips with it quickly and start incorporating things like that into your playing, trying your own chord little progressions and maybe putting a little lick in the end like I did just to wrap it all up. It's worth a try. It's fun and it gives you something a little bit different to try on the guitar. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Oh, that's it for me today. I'm going to leave these videos for you to check out. I hope you enjoy them. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.